Welcome to TTP, Turnbuckle Talk Podcast. You're listening to Kieran Cooper and John Dugan. This podcast is sponsored by Dirty Blondes. Dirty Blondes is a bar located in the heart of Blackpool, famous for their banging tunes, cocktails and 18-inch pizzas. The only place to get a pizza as big as your table across the Fylde Coast. If you're ever in Blackpool, check them out. They're on Facebook and on Instagram. That's Dirty Blondes Blackpool. Let's talk wrestling. Hello, welcome to TTP Turnbuckle Talk Podcast. I'm Kieran Cooper and I'm joined by my co-host, the Scottish stud, John Dugan. Hello, John.
Hello. Hello, how you doing?
Today we have a special guest. We have the badass of British wrestling, Leia Elise.
Hi guys, nice to be here.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Surviving, I guess,
Yes.
in this pandemic.
Yeah, same poo, different day. Don't know if
So, do you want to give a little introduction to who you are and what you do?
my name's Leia Elise. My actual name is Leia, Elise Leia Innes. That's my name, but they've just like switched around because I'd say Leia Elise is like the other side of me. So the badass and that, like I can come across like innocent to some people and like girly, but it's like no, I'm none of those things. So when I'm Leia Elise, I like to be the badass. I like to be dominant, and when she gets in the ring, she's the boss. She knows she's the boss, and she don't care who she's against. She just wants to win.
Yeah. And you are pretty fierce in the ring, I must say.
Yes. I don't care who I'm against. I will beat you up. Just so I get thrown back. So yeah.
Just on your name as well, are you a car fanatic?
No, I always get this because my name's Elise. It's nothing to do with the car.
Okay.
My mum loved this film called Somewhere in Time, and the main character is called Elise, and yeah, she just liked the name. But Leia does come from Star Wars because my dad loves Star Wars, and it's
okay. So I thought because Elise is a Lotus car, which is obviously UK and in Norwich, I believe.
Yeah, no, I do get that a lot. People think, wow, you like Lotus Elise. I'm like, no, it's nothing to do with that. But I do have a Lotus Elise toy from when I was younger because so many people just saying it. So I do have one, yeah. Unfortunately, it's not an actual Lotus Elise. That would be really nice.
And so let's talk, let's go from the beginning. So your parents are wrestlers?
Yes, yeah. My dad, he was known as Canary Kids. He's known as Hot Stuff. He started with WAW before they started. So if you see on the Demand, the WAW Demand, he's on there as Canary Kids when they had their first show in 1994. And then he met my mum on a holiday camp because she worked there, and then she started coming into the wrestling. Like, she didn't do wrestling, she was just his manageress. She was called Crystal Clear. But she has done a couple of matches. She's done a tag, and then she done a women's rumble at Bellatrix, which I was in as Luminous, which we don't talk about her because that's embarrassing. That's when I first started. So yeah. And then I wanted to join because I was always hooked up with it when I was younger. I always loved watching my dad when I was younger and beating him up on the sofa. And then one day I was like 13 and I was like, Dad, I want to do wrestling. And then he said, go on then. But they didn't think I would start. They didn't think I'd do it. They thought I'd take a back bum, realise how hard the ring is, and be like, nope. But I was hooked. I was hooked ever since.
Did you know the sort of how wrestling works at the time, or was it? Did they explain to you? Did you know how wrestling worked at the time? With your mum and dad, did they explain that to you, or?
Not so much. No, when I was younger, I was really upset. Like, I was obsessed with my dad wrestling. Like, I thought he was amazing. At school, I'd bring in videos of him wrestling and hold a poster up and be like, this is my dad. And I'd think he was just amazing. Like, I was so proud. And like, I felt like he was a celebrity around Norwich and stuff, and to tell people he's a wrestler. But I didn't really understand the whole like kayfabe thing and all stuff like that. Like, to me, it was just, I just enjoyed it, like obviously booing the villains, cheering for the faces and all that stuff. So yeah, like I would cry if my dad got hurt when I was younger because I did thought it was like, I was like, no, Dad, what are you doing? And stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think I didn't really see what wrestling was until I actually started.
So you're a second generation wrestler. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not many now about, but yeah, it is really cool.
How hard was it when you started? Did you take to it pretty well, or was it hard going to get into that?
I had really good trainers when I started. I had Zach and Ricky and Julia, Tony as well, and I had really good coaches. Like, they still obviously coach me now, but yeah, it was strict when I started, which I preferred, because then I knew how strict wrestling was. Like, you just watch it and you think, oh, I could do that and stuff, and then you get in and then you realize, it's a lot harder than what it looks, and the ring is not a bouncy like trampoline like some people think.
Yeah, because you debuted in 2012, I believe.
I think it was 2012. I think that I started 2012, but I don't think I actually done my first match 2013.
Okay. Because you was with the academy for a long time, weren't you?
Yeah, the WWYC until I was 16, and then the academy as well. Until not long after I turned 16, I then joined the main roster for Bellatrix, but still in the WW academy. Yeah.
And you was a champion, I believe, in the academy. Because
I was the second Bellatrix Academy champion.
Nice.
So I bet
that felt pretty good.
That did, yeah. Because they didn't have the belt, they only had the British and then European and then the world. And I was saying to Rick, because the boys had the WW Academy and then they had the tag as well, and then they had the under 23, so they had more belts. And I was just saying to Rick, us girls don't seem like we have as much of a goal first. It's a big step from starting to British champion. It's a massive step. Right. So I said it'd be nice if we just had an academy, even if it wasn't belt, just a trophy or something. But then Rick was yeah, actually we should. He was thinking of doing that as well. And then it was me and Karama that had the first 3 rounds, 3 5-minute rounds for the academy championship. But yeah, she won it in the third round, which I was so close, but then I took it off her, which was pretty cool.
With WAW, they seem to be quite ahead of their time when it comes to women wrestling. Did you feel that being in that environment, that what you might see on TV isn't what you were doing, is more proper wrestling?
Yeah, with WAW, they will train you the same, men, women. They don't, they will train you as a wrestler. We don't go in this with WWE and that, they have intergender matches, but they won't let the man and the woman wrestle. Where we, WWE is well, you're a wrestler. Doesn't matter if you've got a pair of tits or a bollocks, you are a wrestler. So we just treat you the same. So yeah, and I do love wrestling the boys. My favorite is because you'll always get that one boy who's I'll take it easy on, you're a girl. And it's okay, then you're gonna take it easy. I'll show you easy. So yeah, it's just I like how we have it with the girls or the women.
Yeah, because the Bellatrix started in 2005, and with women wrestling, it hadn't really took off. There wasn't the movement of women wrestling didn't start till a few years later. So
yeah, I feel with the women's wrestling, it's really hard because people, mainly men, just see it as tits and ass. That's it. They just, when WWE did have it, they had it where women would just wrestle in mud and stuff like that, or they'd have girls cheating on someone with someone, and it's just all about the sex appeal. Where with Bellatrix, it's not like that. We go in there, we hit hard. We hit harder than men, actually. So, we're scary. We're scary. We're warriors. That's what we are.
How easy is it to come up with a character that you're going to perceive when you go into wrestling?
It's some people can get it just like that. It can be really hard. You can get a moveset, you can get, gear design, because you just get generic gear, but to actually get a character, and one that the fans will endure in and get attached to and stuff, it can be really hard. Like I first started, so I wanted to be a face. I didn't want to like be booed at and got called names. But, so I wanted to be a face because my dad's a face as well, and I see the pop that he gets when his entrance music goes. So I was like, oh, I want that, I want that. So I came up with Luminous, who is like, she likes neon. She was all partying and stuff like that. And at the time when I started, I was obsessed with Jedward. And they had a song called Luminous. So I named myself after that. And then my entrance was Luminous. But that didn't last long because Julia, she just kept saying, you're a villain. She's like, you work as a villain. And also I was like bigger than all the girls, like in the YC. So I had to wrestle a 6-year-old and I wanted people to cheer me, but it's like, no, you're wrestling a 6-year-old. They're going to boo us, whether your face or not. So, Julia was just like, you are a villain. So then that's when we went to change and I was stuck what to do. And then Zach was like, I want you to have Elise in it because that's a really nice name. And then Julia just said, Leia Elise. She said, just flip it. And then,
How did you pick your ring gear? Because I've noticed you wear like tartan. Have you always, after the neon, did you go straight to tartan or was it?
With the tartan, because our name Innes, we are from like, we have a Scottish background. So we do have an Innes clang, which I didn't know at the time. Like I was going through a stage where I was growing up and I liked all like the goth style and like the tartan and dark clothes, black all the time. So I just liked tartan and I just got some tartan leggings from like Boohoo, put them on, and then my auntie got, because I started doing this kiss my ass gimmick with Leia Elise with the attitude. So my auntie got a Leia Elise top printed off with kiss my ass in the back, so I just wore that with the leggings, and then I thought I like the tartan, so I'm just gonna keep it, and then
that looks really good, I think.
Oh, I love it. You get so many different tartan colours as well.
Yeah, I think it helps you stand out as well. Like, as well as obviously how good you are at wrestling, but that entrance when you're coming out, it really like pops, I think.
It's funny as well, because you get like these little kids who really hate you, you know, and they give you a lot of grief.
Yes, I love it. I love it when I'll just go look to them and they're like, ooh, with their water or something. That's brilliant. But it's just great. Just the music plays and then like Leia Elise is just there. And I'm like, yeah, I can do this. This is great.
Tell me about how the opportunity to go to Perth, because you wrestled for New Horizon Pro Wrestling. Yeah,
and Indie Girls as well. Like, so what it was Julia that like helped me get that. Well, she got me that booking. Another wrestler was meant to go, but she couldn't go instead. I think I'm not 100% sure why, but then Julia, at the time I was the British champ, so Julia was like, look, you're a British champ. I think it's time you get this opportunity. I'd love to take you there. And then, so that was amazing. It was the best feeling ever, like on the plane. Like, the only time I've been to a plane on the plane was to Cyprus for a family holiday. It was like 4 hours. So to go from that to then like 24 hours door to door journey, I was shattered.
That must be amazing. Like go into a completely different country because of wrestling.
Yeah, like going there to like basically have a holiday, but you're doing what you love as well. It was just brilliant, and the people there, like Corinne and Nick, they were just lovely. They were so nice. They let me and Julia stay there. And all the rest of there I met as well. The trainees, they were lovely. Like talking to me, like not like I was famous in that, but because I was like with Julia, they're like, oh my god, Saraya Knight, you must be so big in Norwich, and I'm like, it's just Julia, man. I'm like, I've met her since I was a baby. It's but it was just great. If I could go back there, I would. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. I hope to go back there again as well, and obviously other places.
How is the wrestling in Australia? Is it quite similar to British, or is it more like what you see in America?
Well,
is it its own style?
Yeah, I would say it's more like what you'd see for WWE and stuff. Because when I went with Julia, she did do a training school where she was teaching all the British stuff, which obviously I already knew, having her as my coach. So it was really cool to see their like reactions to Julia training. So I was like, oh yeah, I remember my reaction to it as well. And it's like just such a different thing, British wrestling to the high flying and all stuff, and actually wrestling. So yeah. I would say though it's not so much of a difference, but there is. You can tell it was a different like genre and that there.
It looks a lot tougher and like to take, I would say, as that's what it comes across as.
What, like British wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is like you can do all high flying moves and stuff, and your body, like, I won't say your body be fine, obviously it does hurt, but then you will do just some grappling, you know, on the mats, and your body will hurt even more, you know, and you're blowing even more. Like you'll do a running spot and you'll be blowing, but then like you're just wrestling on the mats and you're blowing even more because you're constantly just selling and you're thinking and you're actually working to get out of the move. So it does take a lot to just wrestle. And all doing all the flying stuff and the running the ropes and that.
Have you had any big injuries?
Luckily, I haven't. Yeah, touch wood, which there is no wood that I've touched this, but luckily I've not. The only thing I've done is I did break this little finger. If you can see, I don't really know if you can tell, but it was during training, so it wasn't even on a show. But we were doing flip bump, like we were going through all our bumps, and I had to do my flip bump, which I do struggle with. I can never seem to get the height, but Zach was like doing a big pep, like, come on, you can do this, you can do this. So I thought, yeah, I can do this, I can do this. I jumped really high, I forgot to tuck, and I just landed on my head. And I just remember going, and then I remember like getting up, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't land on my back, I landed on my head. And Zach came in the ring like, oh my God, are you fine? Are you fine? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I've done this. And I was like, oh, my finger, and my finger was literally bent like that. It was pointing right, and I was like, oh, Zach, my finger. And Zach's like, get that away from me, I can't do that, because Zach said he hates it, fingers and toes and that are broken. And I was just standing there like, oh, my finger, someone pop it in, someone pop it in. And then Brad Slayer came over and he just popped it back in. And then I had to go to obviously hospital to check, see if I had concussion and stuff. And no, I was completely fine. Neck was fine, no concussion, just my finger. And I was like, wow, I done a flip bump, land on my head, and my finger just dislocated. Like I didn't get concussion or nothing. I was like, that was crazy. But yeah, that's been the only serious one I've had to take time out. Like I've done things where you just sprain your ankle or wrist and stuff, but not like nothing major apart from that. So not actually broken any bones yet. Hopefully.
The training arena that you have is so good, because I know you've just got a new building.
Yeah,
it looks so good.
Yeah,
I mean that must really help.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love it. Like going from, because I started when we had the first gym. So since I've started, we've moved to 4 gyms. 3 of them being roughly the same like area, which is funny enough, and then the one at Rose Lane. So moving from all those gyms was just weird as well and stuff, and like you can see the progression of WAW from the gyms. But yeah, the one we're at now, for it to be our performance center as well, is just amazing. And yeah, it is a dream come true, because I remember them talking about it before, where like Zach and Julie and Rick would say, we're going to move to a place where we can hold shows and we'll have shower rooms and a shop and stuff. And now we've finally got it. And it's just great. It looks amazing. You go in there and you just, you know, you're ready. Like you're ready to get in the ring and put on a good show. You're ready to train. It's a great feeling. Yeah.
It does look really good. I watched one of your matches. Was that the last match you had? And was it October?
Yes.
The round robin, was that?
Yeah, that was for WW. I did have a match for Classic UK, which was the Halloween. But yeah, for WW, my last one of 2020 was October, which I was gutted about. I was like, oh, I love that. Yeah.
The round robin was quite an interesting match. What's your favourite kind of match to be in?
Yeah, like with the round robins, I was against Kramer, who I've been wrestling. Well, she was a few months before I started, so we've both been training together and stuff. And then I had to go against Destiny, who is obviously a veteran and stuff, and been in WWE since the beginning. And you know, she's bigger than, like, even though she's shorter than me, she's obviously bigger than me. So it was weird to, you know, be in a match like that, because I rarely do have matches where I'm against like the bigger girl or the same size girl. I'm normally against the smaller one. But I don't really know. I don't think I have a favorite type of match, like, because every single match has being different as well. Even if I wrestled the same girl like more than once, the matches will still be different. But I probably do enjoy more of my like hard hitting matches. Yeah.
How do you prepare for a match? Do you sort of do a run through of what you're going to do, or do you kind of do it off the cuff and read off the audience? And
yeah, it does depend who you're on with. Like I said, if you've wrestled the person more than once, then you just be like, right, see you in there, and then you will feed off the crowd and stuff. But then obviously if I'm with someone newer or I've never wrestled, then you do have to just speak about stuff, like, you know, just, yeah, not necessarily like plan, because I hate when people say you plan it, because you don't, because anything can happen. You'll like, say you did plan a match and you go in there and the crowd hate it, then you're going to have to just change it, you know. You're just going to do some improv or something. So it's best not to like plan it from A to Z, because if the crowd don't like it, then you're going to panic, like, well, I've planned it this way. So yeah, normally you just see what the other person's like wrestling wise, and then you just meet them in there, and then feed off the crowd.
Do you ever like a favorite person to wrestle with at all, or are you quite happy with?
Yeah, like with our girls at the moment, we haven't got such a wide variety. Obviously due to COVID, we've got girls that can't come down with us, obviously not now, but before. So it was a time where I was wrestling quite a lot of the same girls, but I do love wrestling Karama and I do love wrestling Vanessa. I mean, I love wrestling all the girls, but I would say the ones that push me more, or I can push myself, or I help them, is like, I do obviously love helping all the girls as much as I can. But yeah, like I feel like I can get a really good match out of is Vanessa and Karama. Definitely, yeah.
Do you want to tell me about the time you was in a lift with a certain superstar?
Yes. So I take it you saw the TikTok that I done.
Well,
give me a follow.
So I'm not. My missus watches TikTok for hours, and so does John.
So does
yeah, and John.
My missus does as well.
No, you watch as well. Come,
yeah, I do.
There's nothing wrong with TikTok.
So I went through some of your videos, and there's some funny ones in there. I definitely would give you. Do you ever follow on TikTok?
Yeah, you follow people.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your TikTok name, just so people can follow them?
Leia _ Elise 99, all lowercases. So yeah.
Okay.
Drop the file.
Yeah. So go on, tell the story then.
So it was on the way to Perth. We were meant to go on, I think, the Wednesday, our flight was, but then Raya like phoned Julia and said that she was down, obviously with WWE performing at O2. So obviously, because Julia really gets to see, like, you know, her daughter and stuff, and so she was like, oh, can we go there on Tuesday, spend the night with her, and then we'll get our flight on the Wednesday? And I was like, yeah, because I was like, I hadn't seen Raya in ages, and obviously I thought, oh, I can meet like some of the wrestlers. At the time, we thought we were actually going to go to the O2 Arena as well. But and then we got there, we like met with Raya, and because she had nothing left to do for WWE, we thought we'll just chill out, go out for food, you know, spend some time with her. And then the evening came when all the wrestlers came back. So we went downstairs to, like, we met a few people. Like, I met Charlotte Flair briefly, and who else? God, there was like I saw people as well. I saw the back of the headlight. I saw Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, and I was like, oh my God, because I really love them.
Nice.
So I was like, can we go over there? But because, like, you know, Raya was talking to people, I'm like, oh, damn it, I can't go over there. But yeah, then we went into the lift to go up back to our hotel room, and I think Aiden English was in there, and then opposite me was a short, like, I'm 5'8", 5'9". I think he was like 5'7". I think, I'm not 100% sure. He was shorter than me. He had his hood up, hat on, and I was just looking like, why do I recognize you? Like, who are you? And he was just talking like just generic talk and stuff. And I was like, I recognize the voice. I recognize something. I was like, but I can't put my finger on it. And then the doors open. Like, he was just standing right opposite me, and I was just standing there like, I don't know what to say, like, you know. And then obviously we all got out, and then I asked Ray, I was like, was that AJ Styles? And she went, yeah, it was AJ Styles. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even say nothing. I freaking love AJ Styles. Like, I didn't know he was shorter than me as well. Like, that was more of a shock because they look so much taller on TV. But then she said, yeah, and a fun fact about AJ is he believes the world's flat. And I was just like, what?
Oh, really?
What? He does.
Does he?
What?
Yeah, he does.
I'm
okay.
Like, but the world's not... Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I did not know that. How strange.
Yeah. That was one thing I was like, what?
So what did you say to Charlotte Flair?
Sorry?
What did you say to Charlotte Flair when you met
I was just more nervous and starstruck of everyone. I was just like, oh my God. But like Ray was just introducing me as her cousin and that. So she's like, hey, this is my cousin Elise. And I just said, hey. And that was pretty much it because she wanted to get to a hotel room because obviously they'd just done a show and stuff. So they were all tired and stuff. It was pretty late as well. But I was really shocked because she was taller than me and I didn't realize how tall Charlotte was. And I was like, my God, you're really tall. So yeah.
Yeah, that must have been amazing.
It was really cool. I was obviously hoping we would have went to like the O2 Arena and I could have met everyone or whoever was there more. But I know then we wouldn't have actually spent some time with Ray because then she would have been busy doing stuff. And it was obviously more important for her to spend time with her mum because, you know, they really get to see each other. And it was just nice spending time with Ray again and, you know, going out for food with her. Yeah.
Another question about TikTok is I've seen you have a cat.
Yes.
Now, Ziggy, is it? Yeah.
Yes, his name's Ziggy.
Is that a David Bowie reference?
No, it's not. Do you know what? Everyone keeps saying Ziggy Marley. But yeah, I think one person has said about Ziggy Stardust. But we did have an original black and white cat called Ziggy, which my dad named after Ziggy Marley because we had a black cat called Marley as well. But then he passed away when he was like 16. I was 13 at the time. So I lived with him like for my whole life, obviously. So then when I saw this black and white cat and he just reminded me of Ziggy. So I was like, well, he's Ziggy the Second. That's his name. But I do like Ziggy Stardust and David Bowie and I do like Ziggy Marley as well. So it's all good. But he's a little shit. Ziggy is. He destroys things. He cuts me. I try and play with him. He gives me cuts on my arms. I'm like, thanks, Ziggy. But I wouldn't check.
Well, I've got a cat called Vinny, named after Vince McMahon, believe it or not. And like at first he was so cute, but like I didn't know anything about cats really. He scratches. He climbs up everything. It's like having a child.
Yes.
Yeah. Does he still bite you?
A little bit.
Yeah. They're little sheds. Cats are. But I wouldn't love them. Like I decorated my room and everything during the first lockdown. So like I was meant to go download and I had some refund money for that. So I thought I'll decorate my room, do some stuff. Then I got Ziggy for my birthday, and the first thing he does was like scratching my walls, chewing off the wallpaper. I'm like, oh my God, you bloody cat! Like, what the hell? I just decorated this room. But,
how has lockdown been for you? Because I'm assuming that with wrestling and training, you're kind of doing that. That takes most of your time, and then going from that to doing practically nothing.
Yeah. The first lockdown wasn't too bad because I think it was more during summertime, so the weather was nice, you know, you were up for more to do things like go for a walk or sit in the back garden and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad, but I'd say this one, because we had like that sense of normality and, you know, training again and wrestling again, to then now be in lockdown again, it's kind of, you know, it's hitting harder more, especially because it is winter as well, so the weather's crap, and then you just feel crap as well if the weather's crap. And yeah, but it's not too bad. Like I do my TikToks, or I'll sit on TikToks for hours, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, it is what it is. You just sort of grin and bear it, and yeah.
You mentioned before we started that you watched the Royal Rumble. What did you think of this year's?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. My pick to win was, well, I wasn't sure who was in it yet, first of all. I knew some of the names, but I wanted, when I saw who like the ones that are in it, I want Bianca to win it. and Ripley to win it because I love them both. And that I did want Shayna Baszler to win it as well. So yeah, when I saw like the last two was Ripley and Bianca, I was so happy. And then when Bianca won, I was like, yes. So the girls won, I was really happy with. I loved it. And then the men's, like, because I stayed up watching it with my dad as well, which was really nice. And yeah, so watching his reaction when Edge won as well, it was just great. Because obviously he's watched Edge and Christian and stuff like that from when he was younger as well. So that was really cool. So I was really happy with it. But which that Kevin Owens didn't win because I love Kevin Owens.
I like Kevin Owens as well.
To beat Roman Reigns. No, but I love Kevin Owens.
Which wrestlers did you like growing up?
When I was growing up, for some reason I was really obsessed with Sting and Kane. So I think it might have been like the face paint or something. Like I was just obsessed with them. But I loved and Kurt Angle as well. I love him. Like he just makes me laugh and that, and I just think he's great. And Stone Cold as well. Like I just loved because like he is such a badass and stuff. Like Stone Cold was great. So yeah, I'd say they were my top for him.
There's just so many good wrestlers, like, you know, back when, weren't they?
Yeah. Like I've seen some of the older like WWE stuff, or when it was WWF at the time, and like the crowd react. Like, don't ask me who I watched and stuff because I can't remember like results and everything. But just watching back then, like the Attitude Era and like the crowd's reaction, because you know that was before kayfabe was dead, and it was just great. And the buzz you get, it's just amazing. So I kind of wish wrestling was like that now, where the crowd were like, we're lucky with our fans because they do really get into it. But you still just don't get the same reaction as what you did back then.
Yeah. I think with wrestling now, especially like wrestling that's on TV, like, you know, WWE, it's very much aimed at like families. So they want something for the dad, want something for the daughter, want something for the mum. But watching AEW on demand, it does remind me of like that kind of Attitude Era, because the crowd, like I said, the crowd gets so into it. And yeah, you are quite a badass. I was watching one where you had a weapon and you you was hitting, it was pretty ferocious.
That was I didn't even know I knew I was meant to brawl with Vanessa, but the guys threw me back too soon. So I was like, you know, that Julia was like, get back out there, I want it for longer. Went back out there, tried to brawl with her more. They brought me back, and then I'm like, kept trying to fight with it, and then Julia's like, right, I've got a weapon for you, and I'm like, what? She went right there, and she just gave it to me, and I was like, all right then, and I was just hitting Vanessa. I went, I'm sorry, Julia made me do it. And then Vanessa's like, what the heck? So yeah, she was fine with it afterwards, but I was just like, I'm sorry, okay. Can't say no to the boss when she's holding this, like, go now.
What was it like?
Was it a kendo stick or something?
It was a mop handle.
Was it, was it? Okay.
Yeah, they had a mop head, but they forgot to get the handle. They went to buy the handle, and then I used it and broke it straight away. Okay. So I was like, I can't help it. Julia gave it to me, so yeah. Sorry,
go on, John.
What is it like using a weapon? Because for me, I'd be so scared of going too far with it. So not that worry that you're going to be too aggressive with it. Because it's just part of the course. Worried.
Yeah, like I'm not really used. Like I think I've used a kendo stick once. No, actually, I don't even think I've used a kendo stick. No, I don't know. So I haven't even used a kendo stick. I've just seen people use them, but yeah, like that was the first time I've actually used a weapon. So I was a bit worried, like where to hit her and how hard and stuff. But I kind of just thought of it like when you give a forearm to the back, you just hit like the was where the shoulders are, because then you just get more sound and stuff. So I kind of aimed for there, and then when it bent a bit, I kind of turned it so it was flat and stuff. But it is a bit of a worry, like where to hit and how hard, because you never really know how hard you're hitting them, really. So yeah.
Just going back to the on-demand service as well. So me and John have both got it, and I absolutely love it. Like, it's £6, which is an amazing price for what you get.
Really, yeah.
There's so much content, and there's content from, like you said, from the beginning of WAW, and then there's interviews with like Billy Gunn. There's some surprise wrestlers that turn up. And it's such a good package to get.
Yeah, no, totally agree. It is. I love watching like the old wrestling as well. Like, I didn't realize how far back they had until I was looking at it one day. So I was watching it with my dad, like the old stuff he'd done, and it was so good to like see it back then and how much like WWE has grown as well, and it's just great. There's one bit where I can't remember what show it was. I think it's like 2000 or something, where it's my dad and Roy, where my dad came back and like saved Roy or something from a tag. And at the end, RKJ is like a baby. So then Roy gets handed him, and then my dad picks me up as well. So you see me as a baby in a dress and stuff. So I was like, oh my God, what the hell? So yeah. And I think like in 2006 at the talk, I think there was another one. You see me younger, walk into the ring, like when my mum's there, man, Jess and Dad, I run over to her and she tells me to go away. Because I'm like my little curly hair and a dummy. So yeah, like, but the demand itself is just great. Like all the content we've got on there, all the shows, the hours, it is worth the £6 a month. And obviously they're going to be adding more as well when we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that Mark are like editing staff and that the Heslins, they're working really hard to try and get as much as they can done and to get it out on demand.
It's so well put together as well with like the graphics and the intro.
Yeah.
It's John said it to Zach, it's surprising how good it is.
It is,
you know,
like,
for £6, you know what I mean.
Yeah. And
Sorry,
like with the graphics, Jacob, who is one of our YC, like I think he's like 12, 13, I'm not sure, but he does all the graphic. Well, he's just started doing them now because he's amazing at wrestling, he is, but he likes to learn all the technology side of it as well. You know, and he's really good at doing it. He is. So some of the graphics you've been seeing on the newer ones, he's been doing it, like the Trons and stuff. So yeah, it's nice that we've got like what our wrestlers helping in. And like, because I saw Zach's interview and he was saying about like as a family, because it is like just a big family.
Yeah. How did growing up, getting into wrestling, how did your friends kind of did your friends take it serious? Because wrestling has become sort of more acceptable now, but I suppose when you first started training, I bet your friends were like, what a loser, she's started wrestling.
Yeah, like some of them were like cool with it. They were like, oh, this is really cool and stuff. But yeah, there was more that was saying how sad it was, and obviously taking the mic, saying it's fake. Like, oh, can you pick me up for a body slam, or can you give me a spear and all stuff? And like, you also get it now as well, and it does my head in. Especially as being a girl, I think people, not obviously everyone, but they look at you more as in you're not, you know, more into like. They can imitate you more and stuff. So yeah, they don't really take it as serious. Yeah. So, you know, it's just me. I thought it was just people being jealous that they aren't, you know, doing something with them and like getting a career or anything. So that's just jealousy, really.
Well, you've gone to Australia, met Charlotte Flair. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? You've gone so far already.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was hoping to do more this year or last year, but obviously that was on hold. So I'm hoping 2021 will be different, but we'll see.
How do you feel like the women wrestling has progressed throughout the years? Because it's had such a change in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I think it's just great. Like there's more women more women. I don't know. I can't speak. More like women companies out there as well that you can wrestle for. So it's great. It is great. We're being taken more serious now, not the sex appeal of the show. You know. Yeah, I just think it's just amazing. It is amazing.
Is there any other countries you would like to wrestle in?
Oh yeah, tons. Like I would love to go back to Australia, but like do more like Sydney and stuff like that. America would obviously be another thing, but Japan, I would love to do like go to Japan and do their style of wrestling. I think that like I'll really fit in with there because I know they like their hard hitting girls and their big girls and stuff. So yeah, I think Japan would be like my main goal.
I was going to say, is that like your aim to kind of get to, you know, Japan?
I don't know. But yeah, my aim is to get there, but I feel like I've still got a lot more to do around like the circuit and more train, like more to learn. So I feel like it doesn't matter how long you're in the business, you're constantly learning all the time as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel like a bit more years and then fingers crossed and go to Japan.
I think wrestling seems to change as well, doesn't it, for the decades of like how it's what's the word? Like how it's performed totally changes just as it goes on. So
yeah.
So
and I feel like now as well with COVID, like how WWE are doing it with the screens and stuff. And like before when we done hard times, we had like no one, so it was just to the cameras. Like I'm hoping that's not how wrestling is going to carry on, you know, with the screens and stuff. But because of that, that's just showing like how different we have to perform, because instead of performing to a crowd now, we're performing to a camera, you know. So yeah, I think
was that quite difficult to do, or was it when you start doing it, you kind of get used to it?
I think it can be like, I think with hard times it was more awkward to show out because there's not a crowd there to react to it. But then when you're actually starting wrestling, it's not too bad, and like because you can hear the commentary team going off as well, like to make some noise. It's not as bad. But yeah, it's just to remember to, if you're doing a big move, to try and show out to the camera instead of showing out to just whoever's there, really.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What advice would you give if you know a young girl wants to get into wrestling but is not sure how to get into it, how to go about it?
My advice is, I don't know, just go in there. You know, ears open, mouth shut is the best attitude to have. You know, embrace who you are as well. Don't try and feel like if you're a bigger girl, you can't act like a bigger girl. You have to act like the smaller girl. Or if you're a smaller girl, you feel like you can't, you know, just embrace who you are and enjoy the experience as well, what it is. Like, don't go in there straight away thinking you're going to get to the top, or straight away thinking you're going to get all the spots and stuff. Like, work for them, train, you know, do what you can, what you feel like is right in the moment as well. And yeah, I would more say going with an open mind more. Don't don't just think like you've watched wrestling or something, so don't automatically think, you know, oh, I watched John Cena, so I want to do John Cena stuff, and you know, things like that. So yeah, just going with an open mind. And yeah,
I don't think people realize how much training and stuff you actually do behind, you know, the curtain.
Yeah, because we have a training school on it used to be advanced on the first weekend of every month, and then beginners on third. But since we moved into our performance center, we've done we did do it once where, because we obviously missed so much training due to obviously lockdown and that, we had the beginners join us for advanced training, then we joined them on the beginners. And then Zach just said, like, do you guys enjoy this better? Like, you know, so we all actually get to know each other more. Because before, the advanced and the beginners would be like, you know, two different groups. So when you're beginner joining up to advanced, you know, people wouldn't know really who you are. So you kind of feel more left out and stuff, you know, and not part of the group and stuff. But we're all together, you know, we're all on the same level, and we're all trying to better like everyone else to, you know, get up the levels if they're like, you know, it's just much better. And obviously we get more training, so instead of getting one training school every month, we get two now. But obviously the gym's open as well for us to come down whenever we want. We have to just book it in with Michael Mann. But I would normally be down, I think, like Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'd normally be down the gym with Callum and Ryan, or Callum known as Keegan, and Ryan is Ryan Richards. So yeah, I'll be down with them lot. And the Battle Cat and all them, Mr. Hayward, all of them.
Talk about moves. How did you come up with like your signature moves and your finishing move?
Well, when I went from Luminous, like with Luminous, she didn't really have like anything. But when I went from her to Leia Elise, I was originally brought under like Sammy Baines as like you know, second in command or whatever. I was like brought under her. So her finishing move was a spear. So then my one of the coaches said to do a spear maybe as a finish to kind of be like, you know, tribute to her. So then that's how the spear came. And then the double power bomb, which I can't actually remember. I know it's probably bad. I can't remember who suggested the double power bomb, but I know we were just doing the single ones. And I think I was doing it on Karama, and because she's like at the time she was smaller and that one's what she is. I like picked her up again, and then they were like, "Oh, you can do the double one." So then that's kind of how the double one came, and then with submissions like the octopus stretch, because I do the Russian leg sweep, and then our coach Jason Cross, he showed me the octopus stretch from that, so I started doing that from the Russian. And then I've got another one. I've got quite a few finishes. I've got the girdle as well, which is what Julia made up herself, where you just wrap them around your waist. So you've got them in a full Nelson, and then you step around it so their head's here, and then you wrap their legs around your left side, and then you try and pull them together. So that they're wrapped around you like a ring or like a girdle. So like Julia made that up like one time when she was just messing around in the ring, and then like we were doing it in just Bellatrix training school, and then I'd done it, and Julia was like, "That looks really good, keep it." So I wanted to be doing that one more because that one is more unique and different.
So it's very good, that.
Cool. Yeah.
Have you ever had a moment where somebody says a move and you don't know what the move is, or has that never really happened?
No,
What'd
that
you
has
do in
happened.
that moment?
So like, because we're obviously British trains, like, you know, so we know some terms, like both of them, where it's the American term and the British term. There's some moves where I literally have no idea, and then they'll explain it or they'll show it to me on their phone, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is. But there's been times where not like, you know, someone's gone for a move where I feel like it's going to be something else, but then it's not. So when I had my match with Destiny on the rounds robins, I thought she was going to give me a suplex. So I jumped for it, but then she'd done a DDT. So I was just like, oh, I just creamed myself. So that wasn't fun. But yeah, like it does happen quite a bit with names, because there are so many different names for moves. But normally you just ask and be like, yeah, I have no idea what you're on about. So yeah.
As well with like, is there times where you can't hear what they're saying and you just got to kind of guess what they've said? Yeah,
there's been that times as well in the ring, and some people will be fine with it. They're just like, they'll say afterwards, oh, I meant this, not this, but it's fine. And then some people can get really annoyed with you because of it. But I've not come across people like that, thank God. So you normally just laugh it off, like, oh, sorry, I thought you meant this instead of that, as long as obviously they're safe.
Yeah.
Especially if they wear a mask as well, that can be quite hard to hear.
You said you like staying king because of face paint. Have you ever thought of having face paint?
Well, when I done the classic UK show, because it was Halloween, I dressed up as like half skeleton and stuff. So I done my face half skeleton, and I was kind of liking that. I thought that's pretty cool. But and it didn't smudge too much, which I was pleased with, because I was worried if it would smudge, like get paint on the canvas and then like have Rick like, oh, you got paint on the canvas or something. But I don't think I would have a full face, you know, done. I would probably do the half or maybe a quarter or something if I was to, just as well, because your face feels quite stiff as well when you got like face paint on. So I wouldn't really want that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would for Leia Elise, but if I'd done like another gimmick, then maybe I would use face paint.
Yeah.
What do you think the future holds for Leia Elise in this year and the next few years?
Well, I'm hoping this year we'll actually do some wrestling. So
yeah, there's that. Yeah.
But like I can drive now and stuff. I'm saving to get a car and that. So hopefully the years to come, I'll be able to travel more around and just get my name out there, really. Like, you know, my like the biggest dream is to get to a big place like, you know, WWE, AEW or to Japan and stuff. But if I can just travel around wrestling every weekend, then I'll be happy with that. You know, just doing what I love.
We're from Blackpool, which obviously is a big wrestling town. And we just love this, like, you know, the indie scene and the British wrestling. We want to bring it back, you know. I fully want to see, you know, wrestling on ITV, BBC, you know, on a regular basis. Like Zach did with Stepping to the Ring. I think it's becoming mainstream again, which I think is a good thing. I think. Yeah,
it is. It's definitely a good thing. Like when they were doing the Step into the Ring, I was there when they were recording it all and stuff. And like they did record me doing some bits. So obviously they didn't like it, so I was like, all right then. But I thought but watching it back, it was great. Like I'm hoping we'll be able to do another season because that would be cool. Like seeing more people's stories as well of the wrestling because there's so many stories of people's like lives and stuff.
Yeah, I said to Zach, I'm surprised Netflix hasn't picked you up and done like a Netflix original kind of series.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like with a Step in the Ring with Marcus, like my brother's really good friends with Marcus because my brother's got Asperger's as well. Okay. So like, yeah, when Marcus came, because before my brother, there was like my brother and there was Damo, there wasn't that many people with like learning disabilities or disabilities at the time. In WAW, like we had James as well in that, and but then my brother, he got in the newspapers for being like for having Asperger's and stuff, and because he does wrestling and refereeing, he does more the wrestling now though. But then Marcus was saying like how we said to Brandon, he saw it in the newspaper and saw Brandon was doing it, and then that kind of gave him like the confidence to go for it as well, and then. Yeah, when then Marcus started, and then Brandon and him have been really close. So it was nice to see like Marcus on the Step into the Ring and like you know his story and stuff. Yeah,
I think like everyone's story on that was really good, but I think like wrestlers in general, everyone seems to have a different story of how they got into wrestling. I always find that quite interesting.
Yeah. When I normally meet a wrestler, my first question will be like, how did you get into wrestling? Because it is really interesting to see what some people get into on by accident. Some people get onto it because they love wrestling. It's just like all different things.
Yeah.
Well, we hope to see more of you, hopefully wrestling this year.
Yes, fingers crossed. I hope so.
Do you have a final question, John?
Who's the most famous wrestler you've met? Apart from obviously the Knights.
Yeah, I don't know because I've met like Scott Hall from when he's been down, and when I was younger, I've like sat on Yokozuna's lap, like and stuff like that. And
who's been the best as well? I probably should have asked.
Oh, I don't know. Like.
Who's been the worst?
Who's been the worst?
I don't think there's been a worse. As to say, like it's more just the hi, how are you sort of thing. I'd say Scott Hall though for probably the best because we had him around so much as well, and like he did try to get to know like people, you know, individually as best as he could, like even though he's busy and stuff. And he was just really cool and that. So yeah.
That must be because like that must be because of the respect like the Knight family has in with British wrestling abroad. Like everyone that comes in must be like quite happy to be there.
Yeah, like every time we have like so we used to have epic shows called Epic Encounters and stuff, and we'd obviously bring in loads of imports and they'd always seem happy to be there, and you know the atmosphere in the locker rooms was always nice and a laugh and stuff, and then you'd have like the after parties afterwards so everyone get drunk. So yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and kind of get your experiences, especially because you know you're an upcoming wrestler, and I think especially with WAW, they're going up and up, and I really think that the wrestlers that they're training are going to be something.
Yeah, definitely. It's been nice to be on here as well, so thank you for that. And hopefully I'll look back in years to come and be like, oh, that's when it all started, like, my first interview and everything. So yeah, so fingers crossed for WAW as well, because I can really see it taking off for us lot.
I'll put your TikTok details on our social media as well.
Yes,
to get
and
a
Instagram
few
and
followers
Twitter
as well. Yeah, I'll put them on all for you. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll do some more TikTok.
Thank you. So we've been talking to Leia Elise from WAW. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.
Bye.
Bye.